Sreesankar as well joins in on the show. Sreesankar, hi, morning. What is your own view on Tata Motors? The stock hasn't had such a smooth ride year to date, but do you have conviction that the volume pickup for JLR is going to make up for the lost glory?
No, that's something which one needs to be wait and see. And I don't think, again, today, whether we like it or not, Tata Motors is more of a story of JLR than any in the domestic CVs or PCs or passenger cars or in the commercial vehicle segment. It has purely become a story of JLR itself. So we have had this spikes in terms of performance and especially in terms of cross-currency fluctuations also a big amount. So I think what I would rather say is from the peak that Tata Motors had hit at around 580 or so, the way the stocks have corrected from those levels, and it's something which one needs to be wait and see. But our general thought process is in the domestic market, when if the commercial vehicles is continuing to see a pickup, and probably Ashok Leyland may be a better off in terms of commercial vehicles than Tata Motors at this stage.
Okay, Sreesankar, there are two topics which we are discussing extensively. One, all these new kids which have come, or the new recent IPO listings, they've absolutely gone crazy. CDSL, AU Small Bank, Avenue Supermart, Shankara Buildcon. What is the logic? You're knocking your head, which means you're surprised or you don't know?
Nikunj, we came out with initiating coverage report on Avenue Supermarts the day of the listing, and our target price was 660 if I'm not mistaken, for an 18-month target price against an IPO price of closer to 300. Now here we are a few months down the line, that's precisely a quarter down the line, you have this stock at around 800 and odd. I think the performance have been discounted for the next 2 years already, which is reflected in the price. Now, if you ask me whether I'll recommend investors to enter at this price, because fundamentally I don't see any return that investor is going to get for a couple of years. Now, will you sell this stock? Yes, probably. If I may sell this stock, only if I believe that stock will go down and I may get an opportunity to re-enter at a lower price. So in many of these cases today, it's not only in these new IPOs, it's probably there with a stock like HDFC Bank, which has been consistently quoting at 4.5 times. If I'm talking about even price to adjusted book, which is probably so expensive. This is the thing that good stocks, good fundamentally old stocks will continue to be in demand. Now, I mentioned about Avenue Supermarts. Let me come back to the other listings that you mentioned. Obviously, I don't think that whether it is AU Small Finance Bank or for that matter Shankara Building Products and CDSL, etc. CDSL is more like an annuity business. As you continue to see the growth happens, it will happen. But there is so much of demand for these stocks that valuations have gone berserk. I don't think fundamental business has undergone any change, but it's clearly a call one has to make from valuations. I'm not comfortable at these valuations in many of these things because I don't think in the medium term you are going to get any more appreciation from these kind of prices that these stocks have achieved.
The other trend, Sreesankar, in the market has been the way the penny stocks have been moving. Pick up in HFCL, that's up 12.5% in the last 3 days. The JP Associates, a 21.5% appreciation. Unitech, GMR Infra, GVK Power, all these names alike. Is it a little worrisome as to how the penny stocks have been moving, and are they getting into a bit of a frothy zone, or is it too early to call that?
No, see, I don't want to call a GMR Infra as a penny stock, etc. to that extent. Okay, those stocks have, these are companies, let's be very clear about it. In 2006, this had a market cap of 48,000 crores. And probably when it did not have a cash flow of 500 crores. Market gave a market cap of 48,000 crores. Today, then that market cap came down to as low as 5,000, 6,000 crores. That's a different issue altogether. Now, when these companies, some of these companies, they are genuinely doing what they can do to lighten their asset base and assets, sell off assets and improve the cash flow to pay off the debt that they have, and fundamental things could change. But valuations are becoming expensive, and I think when I was sitting here, I heard one of the others guests saying about it, because you're not seeing a greater idea in the broader market or the leading companies in the frontliners. So you're going much to the second liners and the third liners because you're looking for trying to justify valuations, trying to look for stocks which are much more at a reasonable place. And this is a classic case where we find that the markets have run up during a bull market, and this is where you will find more and more IPOs and fundraising will happen. So I would think that what will happen is, if this scenario continues, you will see more of QIPs, more of IPOs, and that will actually result in, at some point of time.
Right, Sreesankar, I'm so with you. I just want to mark the pre-open rates and then we'll come back to that topic. And the topic really is, that is the market repricing risk. Always very dangerous when you come out and say, okay, because markets are strong, we'll take high risk. No, it does not work this way. High risk does not translate into greater returns, guys. We'll talk about it, but let me mark the pre-open rates. It's excuse me. It's a flat start. It's a flat start for the Nifty. It's a flat start for the Sensex, and nothing large meaningful was anyways expected. I want to look at Tata Motors, because Tata Motors in a sense was a prime mover yesterday. IGL again needs a special mention. Liquor companies is where you may see a bit of a pop-up start. United Spirits, United Breweries, Radico Khaitan, the smaller ones also, GM Breweries, Global Spirits. You may see a pop-up start there, because if you're buying some of these liquor companies, you pretty much are buying them now at the peak of bad news. At the peak of bad news is where liquor is trading right now. But pre-open rates are not indicating anything big, large or special. Okay, Sreesankar, point well taken. The markets, traders or investors are feeling confident that because markets are strong, so let's change the risk definition. Always a dangerous thing to do. I mean, we are old-timers and we know that high risk does not translate into greater returns. So we'll keep that topic aside. But let's talk about, as a house, any fresh ideas which you've initiated where you still feel there is value in the market. Everybody has combed the market and looked at stocks, turned every rock, and ideas are scarce.
In fact, we had, stocks like Thyrocare that we had initiated, we like it. We had, recently initiated a coverage on Sonata Software, which is a value stock. My analyst likes a particular company. And then when we look into many of the others, whether it is, today we see that South Indian Bank has a story where it has been in the segment for quite long. It is probably the cheapest banking story that we have. It had addressed all its NPA problems at one go. I think there is still a lot more stocks out there which we think can steadily give certain amount of return. No need to run behind some of these high-priced ones at this stage.
Okay, let's talk about... This is
apart from our topics and apart from our regular coverage items that I have.
Yeah, absolutely. Noted that.
Sreesankar, closing comments from you. Anything which you would like to call it as a bubble or something which is about to blow up? We talk about what to buy, but let's talk about what to sell and what not to buy.
Yeah, I'm very uncomfortable with some of these new listings, the valuations that they have reached. My thought process, if these stocks move up by around 150, 200% or 150%, etc. from listing in a period of less than 1 month, then the investment bankers have not done a good job in pricing it. That's the way I look at it. So obviously, I think there's a lot of growth out there. So I don't think that it's going to be all jam for money kind of scenario. No, if it is so, it's a great bull run. So enjoy the party.
Okay, that's a very positive sounding you.